idea, it's not our idea, we can actually feel quite jealous. Yeah.
Yeah. And people don't actually admit when they get jealous. Yeah.
Sometimes we don't even know.
So thank you for adding
we
that.
just get frustrated or angry about what's happening. All right, let's continue on now. Now that we get a sense of, well, this is what's getting in the way of a high performance work environment. It's getting in the way of Agile and collaborating with each other. So let's go to the next. So let's move on to now, well, what is high performance leadership? So before we go deeper into emotions, well, what is extraordinary leadership? Now, from the manifesto from Agile Software Development, well, you can say, well, what does this have to do with leadership? Like, can you clarify? Well, we see these as key leadership behaviors that we focus and are able to focus on individuals and interactions and true collaboration and valuing people and connecting with people. This is so essential. Or even our ability to respond to change. Our ability as a leader to respond to change signals and makes it okay for everyone. We can model how fluidly we can respond to change, right? And again, customer collaboration, et cetera, or even just focusing on working software, that we're focused on moving the organization forward, creating great results.
Yeah, so we talk about the Agile Mindset. These are just how we're showing up, how we behave on a daily basis. And also, like, what happens when you know, there's due dates and deliveries and there's time constraints and there's a lot of requirements coming down, and like people said, that they're frustrated, they're angry, they have anxiety, there's fear. All these things shape our behaviors.
And lots of people talk about the Agile mindset or being Agile. There's doing Agile, being Agile. But in order to be Agile, in order to live the Agile mindset, navigating your emotions is essential. So being a great Agilist is actually about being a great leader. So another concept we can go through is from An Everyone Culture by Keegan Leahy.
Right. So get to the other side, where I'm going to put us on the other side. At Bridgewater, a Bridgewater phrase for working through ego defenses, neutralizing the sting of having your mindset questioned, and coming to actively manage forms of emotional self-protection that otherwise would be barriers to personal growth, because learning from one's own mistake is a job requirement. So this is where emotions really come into play here. You want to say more?
Yeah, so to bring us back to the...
Okay.
All right, so what I want to say here is, like, so this book, An Everyone Culture, is based on a set of companies that were followed that had very, very high levels of performance to pull out what is the pattern. And the pattern is that people are willing to learn and grow, and especially willing to look at their emotions and learn how to navigate them. So that's what we're giving you here in this time together. Another perspective is from this book, Reinventing Organizations, which again looked at many, actually 10 high-performance companies.
In Teal, obstacles are seen as life's way to teach us about ourselves and about the world. We are ready to let go of anger, shame, and blame, which are useful shields for the ego, but are poor teachers for the soul. We embrace the possibility that we played a part in creating the problem, and inquire, what can we learn so we can grow from it?
Right. So our view of creating a teal organization is very straightforward. We go through this in our training and so on. But when we show up as a teal leader, when we show up with an evolved consciousness, an evolved mindset, then we'll create a teal organization around us. It'll just happen because we're showing up in a very powerful way that has the transmission of teal, the transmission of evolved consciousness, an evolved way of seeing human beings, an evolved way of working. That's what it takes. Now, what we've discovered is no one's actually described the pattern of how we can show up as leaders to create high-performance organizations. So what we did is we captured that, and that's what we're going to explain to you now. So we've created this concept called Evolutionary Leadership. This title existed long before us. A number of people have used it in different contexts. Our definition of evolutionary leadership, what we've seen to create high performance, and this is going to be described in detail in our upcoming book, is that evolutionary leadership is the choice to evolve oneself and develop the capabilities needed to evolve an organization. So anyone can be an evolutionary leader. It's a matter of choice and the willingness to evolve oneself and learn. Now, there's two parts to it. There's the doing and the being. And I'm going to explain those a bit more. And we need both of those working in unison to create and show up as a high performance leader. So first of all, the doing. Doing is the ongoing commitment to understand and apply what we call the laws of organizational dynamics to evolve people and systems. So the doing part of it is about as a influencer, whether a team member or manager or a coach, it's about learning what we call the laws of organizational dynamics, the ways in which we can influence people and systems to invite them on the journey towards higher and higher levels of performance. So the very practical skills that we need. There's not just a shift in our consciousness, there's actually very practical ways of interaction, patterns of interaction that we need to master in order to evolve people and systems. The being part of the equation is the ongoing commitment to evolve one's consciousness to a more evolved state of being. So what we've seen with high performance leaders is that there's an evolution where we come to peace with our ego. We understand the damaging effects of the default structure and functioning of human beings, and we work to mitigate that so we can show up as a more evolved leader. So that's the work of evolutionary leadership. So emotions, as we can see, because of the damage they can cause, negative ones, the damage they can cause, plays a pivotal role in our success as an evolutionary leader. So let's look at the impact of emotions now. Let's look at the impact of emotions. No, you're just going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it on this.
So I'm going to take you through an exercise right now. And I'll explain it first. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed. But I want you to think of a time where you've experienced somebody else in a huge emotional charge where they're expressing very negative emotions. Pick something at work, pick something, a recent situation. So just take a moment to feel your body sitting in the chair. You can close your eyes. If you decide to have your eyes open, just find a spot in front of you to gently rest your gaze. And just breathe. Feeling your body sitting in the chair. Feel the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. And just remember a situation or an experience you had where somebody was expressing their negative emotions. Maybe they were angry or frustrated. What's going on in your body right now as you re-experience the situation? What does it feel like for you? What happens inside your body? Now, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking about this person? Good. Take a deep breath in and out. Feel your body sitting in the chair and coming back to this present moment right here and right now where you're safe. You're just at a conference. And now let's debrief this for a moment. So going back to the polls again, what is the impact of a negative emotion? What is the impact on you with a negative emotion? What happens in your body, your thoughts, your feelings? What goes on inside? Urge to help, stress, right? Feeling tense takes my energy down, right? Has a huge impact on you, the environment around you. Feeling heavy, right? You get angry, right? You get triggered. Sadness. You want to protect yourself. Yeah. So you're very impacted by somebody else's negative emotions. You can really begin when you slow down and you just take a moment to really understand what's going on inside. Yeah. Sympathy.
Yeah, and even this interesting urge to help. I mean, sometimes we want to help because we genuinely care about the person. That might be part of it. But there's also a selfish component to want to help because we don't want to experience the other person's discomfort. So we want to help them so that they stop suffering, so our suffering goes away. So underneath that ask for help, there's often suffering and discomfort, right? So sometimes we need to look a bit deeper to see actually what's there.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is that when people aren't challenged emotions around us, they take out everyone else around them. One person on a team can take out that whole team with their emotional reaction because everyone else is going to have their counter reaction.
Right.
Right. So now let's pivot into this question of how does your emotional system actually work? And we're going to take you beyond what you may have heard previously. You may have read books on emotions. And they said it works like this and this. We're going to go beyond that. So here we go. Ready? Let's start with what we call the happy memory experiment. This happy memory experiment, it's going to be very easy experiment to see how does your emotional system actually work. All right. So step 1, put everything down. Step 2, sit up straight. Step 3, close your eyes. Step 4, take 3 deep breaths. And now think of a happy memory, a very happy memory for yourself. Just bring in it, recall what it is. And now we'd like you to really experience it. Notice what you're seeing. Notice what you're hearing. Notice if there's anything you're touching or feeling. Any smells. Perhaps there's taste or some sort of feeling in your body. And just notice the feeling that's there in your body. And just allow yourself to connect with that experience and really experience this happy memory. Just letting it fill your being. Yeah, very good work. And now just notice you're sitting in a chair. Take a deep breath, and then take a breath in and out. And then open your eyes. And let's debrief this a little bit. Just let's go to this next poll. And the question is, what did it feel like in your body when you thought of a happy memory? What did it feel like in your body when you thought of a happy memory? So we're seeing lightness, relaxed, warm, peace, smile,
joy, warm,
nostalgia,
cry,
relaxed,
happiness,
warm, warm lightness of joy,
butterflies, light,
yeah, that's
family.
what it felt like.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Colors, sadness, lightness.
So, thank you so much. You can stop putting in poll responses and just take a look at what you've co-created here.
Free.
Smile. Peace. Yeah, this feeling of peace and spaciousness. Yeah. All right, so this is what it feels like when you think of a happy memory. Now, I just want to check, bring us live again. Just want to check in with you. Is it this time with Audrey and I, we're making you feel so good, and these are all the feelings that come up for you? Well, you know that it's not us. You know it's not this amazing conference that we're all attending. There's something
it could
else.
Be the conference.
There's something. There's actually something else going on here. Like, I just want to check with you. Is the memory you thought of in the past, or is it happening right now? And you'll be like, wait a second, Michael, this is ridiculous. I know the memories in the past. I know that. Like, what a crazy question. But now here's the very interesting thing. Did it feel like it was happening now? Did it feel like it was happening now? Did you experience in your body the sensation of happiness right now? And you're all going, well, yeah, that's what I experienced. There was lightness, it was open. Like, here, this is what you said you're experiencing right now. This is what you're experiencing right now in the present moment. So this is weird. The memories from the past, but you're experiencing these feelings in your body right now.
As if it was happening.
As if it's happening right now. Wait, how does my emotional system even work? Well, it turns out your emotional system can't tell time. Your emotional system can't tell time. This is profound. It means that when an emotion comes into your present awareness, you will experience it like it's happening right now. Just make a slide. So if you think of a happy memory, you'll feel happy right now. If you think of a sad memory, you'll feel sad. If you think of something in the future that's scary for you or something in the past that was very uncomfortable for you, you'll feel and re-experience it right now.
As if it's happening now.
Because your emotional system can't tell time. Boom. That's the core of how your emotional system works. And once you know that, that's the secret to start navigating it. We can't control it, but we can navigate it. So let's go through. How do we start to navigate? Well, let's start with a little bit more understanding of how we work as human beings. What do you see? Just type in the chat. What do you see here? If you're titling this picture, what would you title the picture? Just type in the chat. Oh, we see someone saying it's an old woman, it's a girl, it's a young lady, it's an old woman, it's a girl, it's both, it's a young lady with a hat. Well, here's the deal. Some of you may know this already, but what happens is that some of us were perceiving a young woman over here. There's her face. There's her nose. There's her chin.
There's her hat.
Yeah, and there's her hat. And some of you are perceiving an old woman with an eye and a nose and a mouth. There's the mouth, right? So here's what's going on. Here's what's going on. Your brain is a pattern matching machine. It's going to match a pattern. It's going to match a pattern. You have some input, it's going to match a pattern. So this is the news item here, is that your brain is a pattern matching machine. Wow. My brain is a pattern matching machine. So whenever I'm in a situation, it's going to match that situation to a pattern in my memory. In this case, it was a young woman or an old woman, right? That's what your brain did.
Right. Based on your brain's conditioning and how your brain is wired, you will perceive either the old woman or the young woman.
Yeah.
And neither is right or wrong, by the way.
Yeah. So when we look at it, now, so let's just take a minute here. So like our brain is a pattern matching machine. When we experience something, it's going to bring up a memory that matches it. And if that memory has emotions, it'll feel like it's happening now. So now we look at, well, what's happening with negative emotions? We looked at the happy memory, but what about negative emotions? Every time you're experiencing a negative emotion, there's one thing going on. Your brain is a pattern matching machine. It matches the current situation against a memory. That memory is coded with a negative emotion. And then in the moment now, because your nervous system can't tell time, your emotional system can't tell time, you re-experience that negative emotion from the past. Get it? So all the emotions you're experiencing right now, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, are actually re-experiencing emotions from the past. It's not about what's happening right now.
So what happens when you go to the workplace and you're on a team and your team member can remind you of your brother or a friend, a girlfriend that you're in an argument with, or it could remind you of an authority figure from your past. A lot of times we have issues come up with our bosses and the people in the hierarchy. What's really happening is we're projecting onto these people situations and experiences from the past. It's not even what's happening right now, and that's actually creating this this kind of ripple in what you're experiencing in the here and now.
Yeah, I mean, just last week we had one of our people in our training program calls and say, "Oh, I got this issue with my boss," and we unpack it, and you go, "Who does he remind you of?" And he goes, "Oh, he reminds me of my father." And then
he went,
boom.
Oh.
Right. So anyway, so this is what's going on with us as human beings, and we're not even aware of it. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because this pattern matching, let's go back to this pattern matching. This pattern matching is an automatic pre-conscious process. I'm going to repeat this. It's an automatic pre-conscious process. So we're not even aware of that it's happening. It just happens and we experience it, and then we flow with whatever we're experiencing, but we don't question, why am I experiencing this right now? So that's what we're getting you to do, is we're starting to have you become aware that your emotional system is running the show. All right, so let's continue. Now, how does this show up in the workplace? Arguing. There's no such thing as positive conflict. All arguing, all conflict is destructive. High performance organizations have people who are curious and care about each other. And whenever there are different perspectives, they listen with curiosity and respect. They might be very excited about their ideas, but they're very willing and open to hear other ideas. That's where high performance comes from. Mm-hmm. So if you have any arguing, you have any conflict in your workplace,
disruptors,
it's a signal that emotions are getting in the way of performance. That's actually low performance. The next one we can talk about is being caught in a story, where you experience something and your mind keeps on looping over and over and again. The situation's gone, it's in the past, but your mind keeps on replaying it. What should I have said? What could have happened? What did they say?
What happened in that meeting? You're going over and over and over again. This guy said this person said this, and I responded this way, and it just keeps looping and looping and looping. And this is how you know that there's actually an emotional hijacking taking place.
Right.
This is a really important one. Gossip and colluding is another sign that you're in an emotional response, an emotional trigger. Because what happens is that our emotions take over, and it's so intense in our own body that we need to release it. And we release, as humans, we release emotions and responses in a way of gossiping and colluding. So it helps it's almost like we're taking all of the energy of the emotion and putting it onto somebody else, because we can't hold the uncomfortable feeling in our own body, in our own system. And the other thing is that we're colluding because we want to create safety for ourselves. We don't have psychological safety when these emotions are coming up in various situations. So we gossip and we collude to bring people onto our side, so we feel safe. Mm-hmm. This is also really unhealthy and unhelpful behavior that could greatly impact and create damage.
Yeah, so some of you may have heard of the research from Google with Project Aristotle that psychological safety is the most important thing in the workplace. Guess what blocks our psychological safety? There's some things that are in the environment for sure, but our own internal level of psychological safety is entirely based on this pattern matching system, right? If our pattern matching just matches really happy memories, we'll feel incredibly psychologically safe. If our pattern matching works the other way to match challenge memories, and we have frustration and fear and anger and throughout the day, that the only way to fix this is not through the environment. There's no environmental fix. The only way to fix it is for us to learn how our emotional system works.
Mm-hmm. The brain.
The brain, yeah. So this is your brain. It is going automatically. We're not even aware of what's happening.
Let's talk about psychological safety and intelligence.
Oh, yeah. So I just want to make sure people have the connection that when you lose psychological safety in the workplace, the blood supply to your frontal cortex actually gets shuts off, like it gets reduced. Because your brain goes into fight or flight mode, and the blood supply is used to take action. So that's the way our nervous system is designed. So whenever you're in a challenging emotion, the blood supply to your frontal cortex is actually getting shut off, and your ability to reason, to think your way through it, is getting severely impaired. Now, in this situation, what do people tell you? Let's go back to the slide here. People tell you that to control your emotions, to manage your emotions, and we just want to let you know, you cannot control your emotions.
They will happen.
They will happen. Like, why are we saying this? You cannot control your emotions because it's an automatic process based on the pattern match. There's a pattern match, and then the memory comes in, and then you feel the memory. It's an automatic process. So you cannot manage it. You cannot control it. Now, before you give up hope, there is something you can do. And we're going to explain that step by step. Once you understand there's nothing you can do, then there's something you can do. This is the paradox. We call the paradox of choice, because there's nothing you can do, but at the same time, you can do something.
So Viktor Frankl says this: between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This is so important. We have a choice.
Yeah. So all of us have this pause between stimulus and response. And through that choice, something different can happen. That's what we're inviting you to do, is to find that pause.
In that pause, this is why we're giving you this information and showing you how your emotional system and your brain is matching a pattern from the past, so you can understand in that choice what's really going on with your emotional system, what's really happening in your brain, and how you have the choice to respond, right? This is it's up to you. We're giving you the knowledge to be able to do that.
So all of us have a choice of how we live. Our default behavior pattern is we have an emotional wound from the past, something gets matched automatically, and we react to it and create damage in the external world.
I do this all the time.
Yeah. This is like the standard human functioning. Like,
right? We get
input,
really
stimulus response,
yeah.
stimulus response, stimulus response. What we're saying is that you have something called awareness. Your awareness creates this place of choice, this little gap that we just heard about. With this gap, you can choose to get clear, and then instead of causing damage, to flow with life. All of us as human beings have this capability, this superpower called awareness. So we're going to talk to you about how to use that awareness to change the outcome. You can't control it, you can't manage it, but you can influence what's happening. All right, so we're going to go through emotional science, two aspects of it. The first one is the doing of emotional science. So we'll talk about that first. The second one is the being. So let's start with the doing. So here's how to use your awareness. So let's look at the left-hand side first. So something happens around you, and in your brain, there are thoughts and there are feelings, and these are automatically generated, right? Something happens, and then the pattern matching machine goes, and boom, you're suddenly thinking thoughts, you're suddenly feeling emotions. That's what will happen automatically. But now this is where you can use the pause and check in and actually see what's going on. So the first question you want to ask is, how intense is this feeling? 1 to 10. When we're talking about the feeling, we're talking about that physical sensation during the emotion. So right now, think of a work situation. Just make us live. Think of a work situation, and just close your eyes and imagine you're in that work situation right now, the uncomfortable work situation. And just notice what it feels like in your body. This work situation where it's bringing up some negative emotion. Notice what it feels like in your body. Just really recall the people, the situation. And what you'll notice, just notice in your body, there's a physical sensation. How intense is that physical sensation from 1 to 10? Where do you feel in your body? Just notice that. Okay, now take a deep breath in and out, and just let go of that. Let go of that. All right. So just what you'll notice is when you're, shake it off. All right. What you'll notice is that it was a fairly high number, right? If it's an important work situation with conflict and challenge, it's going to be a high number. Probably
that was a 9.
Probably something over a 5. Now let's just check. Was your life in danger? Let's do a reality check. Let's go to the polls, the slides. Yeah. Was your life actually in danger? Think about the situation. Where are you going to die? 10 is you're about to die. 1 is it's not a big deal and it's going to be resolved in the next day or the next week. Yeah. So for most of you, you're thinking from 1 to 10, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to die. It wasn't that big a deal, right? So that's what's going on. So what's really happening is your brain is matching a pattern from the past when you were very young, most likely, where it was a big deal, that kind of situation it matched. And it felt very, very emotionally overwhelming. And it brings that feeling of emotional overwhelm, that really intense feeling in your body, to the present moment. Even though if you're totally for your emotional system and totally analytical, you say, oh, wow, this is not a big deal. It's a problem. We'll figure it out. It'll get sorted out. That's what rational is. That's what emotionally clear is like. When everything just happens around you, go, oh, we'll figure it out. It's fine. Everything's fine. We'll just sort it out.
Right. Or somebody is angry and shouting in front of you, instead of getting triggered or getting angry or being in fear, you're just very calm. And in those calm places, you can make really amazing choices on how you want to respond or not respond.
Yeah. So the
right?
key,
a healthy response.
Yeah. So the key part is just to use your awareness. Say, I've got awareness. What's going on in my body? Oh, my body has this going on. Oh, how fascinating. And wait, is my life in danger? Oh, no, it's not. Well, this must be my emotional system matching a pattern from the past and giving me this really intense experience, even though everything's fine right now, even though I'm totally safe right now. Woo, right? So that's the doing. That's using your awareness to create a shift. The second part is where you can really clear the root cause. So we're talking about the being part of emotional science. We talked about the doing. Now we'll talk about the being part of this technology that we created. All right. Over to you, Audree.
Okay. So I'm going to take you through another exercise. But before I do that, I'm going to give you a health and safety warning. Right? So, because of the time constraint, also because we're not in a room with you, I just want everyone to be very gentle with themselves, right? So we're going to choose an emotional situation, and we're going to take you through an exercise to dissolve that emotion within you. So first of all, I want you to pick something that's easy and not too intense. The other thing is, if you have any heart issues, if you have had heart surgery, if you have high blood pressure, pacemaker, anything like that, please do not do this exercise. You could just follow along and just do slow, deep breathing, but don't really go into the exercise itself. And then also, if you're pregnant, please do not do this exercise, because bringing up negative emotions in situations is not healthy for the baby. So please just refrain from doing this exercise. Okay? So, ready? Is there another?
Is there one? No.
There's no.
Oh, there's this one. Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. So we're going to do this exercise, and it's called Get Clear. And this is from our book, Emotional Science. And this exercise itself is, in practice, it's a 10-minute exercise. We're just going to take you through a very, very short exercise of 3 minutes. How much time do we have?
We're good. We're fine.
Okay, good. All right. So everybody just take a deep breath, shake it out, and relax. Right? Working with emotions can be rather intense. And so this practice is a tool and a technique that you can use on a moment-to-moment basis, on a daily basis. And what will happen is that the emotions that are locked in your system will begin to dissolve and release. And when you're in any kind of situation where your brain's going to be pattern matching, it actually, this exercise dissolves the pattern itself. There's a longer explanation for that, but for right now, you just need to know that. So we'll begin the exercise right now. And again, you can have your eyes open or closed. If you have your eyes open, just find a spot in front of you to gently rest your gaze, because all your focus and all of your attention, you're not going to be in the story. You're just going to be with the physical sensation in your body. So all of your awareness is on your body. So let's begin. Let's close your eyes. Feel your body sitting in the chair. And just begin to breathe deeply, just relaxing your body. Feel the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. Know that right now you're physically safe. There's nothing going on. You're just attending a conference. And now think of a situation in the workspace, just at work, where your emotions get triggered. Not going into the story, not trying to figure out your past. Just bring up the experience. And now notice what happens in your body. Just your body sensation. Identify the uncomfortable feeling in your body and breathe. Breathe into that uncomfortable feeling. Now you know it's not happening in this present moment, yet you can really feel it. When you drop into your body and feel the sensation, the uncomfortable sensation in your body, your mind shuts off. And you deepen your awareness by just feeling that uncomfortable sensation in your body and breathe into it. Big, deep, long breaths. As you bring attention to the uncomfortable place in your body, the uncomfortable feeling becomes painful or more intense. Breathe into the intensity. Yeah, there you go. This feels intense. You're safe now. And you know you're safe, so you can just keep breathing into that intense moment, that intense feeling in your body. Paying exquisite attention to that place in your body where it feels uncomfortable. Breathing into that point. Staying right there. If your mind wanders, just come back to the uncomfortable feeling. Not a big deal. If the pain moves, just go back to where you were in the beginning, that uncomfortable feeling. If it's not there anymore and it moves, that's okay. Then go to where it's most uncomfortable in your body. Stay with it. You're doing good. Keep breathing into the uncomfortable feeling. And now take a deep breath in and out, bringing space into your body. Releasing that uncomfortable feeling, just letting it let go. Keep breathing. Noticing that you're safe in this moment, right here and right now. Feeling your body sitting in the chair. Letting everything go. It's okay, you don't have to stay in that uncomfortable feeling. Great. Feel the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. Feel your body sitting in your chair, feeling your feet flat on the ground. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. Thank you.
All right, some closing comments for the exercise.
Yeah, so we do have an MP3 in the resources for you, a guided meditation. We have more write-ups about this, but this exercise you would actually actively do for about 10 minutes every day or when you feel necessary. As you develop mastery over this, it becomes really easy to be in an emotional charge while you're speaking to somebody. You can feel what's going on in your body and breathe through it and release it instantaneously. So I encourage you to explore this exercise. It's a really powerful tool.
So some of you may noticed it was uncomfortable. Everyone probably experienced being uncomfortable. That's the deal. When you go into the discomfort, it releases the pattern, right? So if you want to release the pattern, if you want to stop being controlled by the past and what's happened in your past, then this is how to actually start to clear. So we can't control our emotions, but using Get Clear, we can clear away the source of the emotions, which is these past memories and so on, and start to eliminate the ones that are having the most impact on us on a day-to-day basis. So we're just going to closing now to help you understand what we're sharing here with you is a radical departure from what a lot of people have heard about emotions. It's not like anger has some purpose and now you just set up boundaries and all this crazy, that's crazy nonsense for low performance. It's a way to try to navigate without the technology we're sharing here. What we're giving you is the actual coding for how your emotional system works. So you can actually, once and for all, get to root cause and take actions that will help you.
It'll give you space to make a choice.
Yeah. So now let's just check in with you. If you put in time, you focus on using your awareness, you take time to use Get Clear. As over time, you'll become more and more emotionally clear. So when you're emotionally clear, I will be, and then fill in the blank. How will you be when you're emotionally clear? So again, the final poll, pollev.com/orgs. You have to hyphenate things if you have two words, just to clarify that. There's something liberated, peaceful, balanced,
mindful. I love the word liberated. That's a great word.
calm,
balanced.
Superhero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
real
Right?
superhero.
Because if we can conquer our emotions, the rest of the world is easy, right? Balanced, free, calm.
Safe.
Yeah.
Right? Taking responsibility for your own psychological safety, taking responsibility for your inner state is very important.
Yeah.
How you show up in every moment creates the leader that is impactful, powerful, change agent.
Wow.
Yeah.
So some of you may want to feel liberated, calm, balanced in your life. If so, you've just learned how to get there. You've just learned how to get there. Now, the other thing I'll just mention as a side note is that for the first thing, this becoming aware of the pause, that's where a lot of people go into meditation to just practice being in the stillness so that their awareness muscles get better and better so they can capture that moment. And so meditation together with this emotional science technology is very, very helpful for if you want to show up like this, if you want to be a leader. Now think about a leader who operates this way, liberated, mindful, open, balanced. This is someone other people will follow. This is someone other people will be influenced by. This is someone who can show up in such a powerful way, not a tool, not a technique, not a doing, but their way of being itself inspires people.
Leadership.
That's what we're talking about as leaders who lead. If you want to create a high performance organization, Teal or some other high performance organization, that requires that you show up as an impeccable leader. And the way you do that is by working on yourself. That's why we talked with Evolutionary Leadership about the choice to evolve oneself and learn how to interact with people and organizations. So we want to share some resources before we close. First of all, if you go to our website, you can take a screenshot of this. There's a handout there you can download. There's a PDF you can download. Whoops, I'm going off the screen here. It's like drunks. I don't know, it just doesn't want to cooperate. There we go.
It's
there we go.
Almost there.
All right. Anyway, it's down here at the bottom. You can I should take it off or turn this off. You can take a screenshot of this and you can go to that download. It's a free download. We just want to make that available for you. And this takes you to this checklist to support your awareness, as well as a short summary of the, thank you, Oliver, for posting it there. It's also in the chat. As well, just if you want to learn more about our work and what we do with leadership, or get the book. The book's over here. Oh, I see. I see. I'm looking at the wrong screen, the backwards screen. That's why I was going backwards. So here's the book, Emotional Science. We've gotten extraordinary feedback on it. It's available on Amazon and so on, and our website, shift314.com. So that's what we want to share with you. It's been a pleasure being in this space. We really appreciate being here.
Thank you for being open and allowing us to share our work with you.
All right. So we're looking at the Q&A. So we'll just pop over the Q&A. We've pulled it up in our window here. There's a question here. Are really emotions positive or negative, or only just emotions, period?
It's an interesting, it's a very interesting comment and question. And, you know, our minds get very active trying to figure things out. And what we're doing is we're taking you beyond the mind. Because at this point in time in our evolution, our minds have created a lot of damage. Our minds have created a lot of conflict. They've also created a lot of good. So, I think that, you know, whether the emotions are positive or negative is just kind of an opinion and a judgment. Yeah. And we're just trying to give you a tool to dissolve the emotions so you can function. Of course, you want to be happy, joyful. All these positive emotions are very helpful in society and in relationship and connection with people. So we're not saying be devoid of emotion.
Yeah. So let's just be clear. Your positive emotions, if you label them that, you can label them or not, they're not getting in the way. You enjoy them. So why bother with them? The challenging ones are getting in the way of work, getting in the way of you showing up as a leader. So we're just giving you an option to start working with them if you want. You don't need a label. We're just helping create these labels to orient you and help you understand. The other question here is, would you do the exercise with trauma, like losing a loved one? And the answer is
yes.
Yes. All of the above.
Yeah.
Any emotion.
Yeah.
So let's just, I don't think it gets pretty fancy. We just have a little bit of time. But you're saying we need to remove all, no, and we're not saying you need to remove all negative emotions. We're just saying if they're getting in the way of how you want to show up as a human being and as a leader, then we have an option for starting to navigate them.
Right. And negative emotions that are creating damage where you're not showing up as your best self, those are things that you want to work on.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. First of all, individuals in interactions over process and tools. The tools blocked us to interact a little bit by some two pop-ups that were definitely not supposed to be there, but we are live.
No worries.
Excuse us for that pop-up. Hey, 10 minutes to end. It was not needed. And it's just automatic one we learned. So thanks a lot. We appreciate you. Thanks for being there.
So much.
Just to be clear, if we had an emotional charge, it would be our problem to work through. So no worries.
Yeah, but that's a good one. Maybe we could have avoided, maybe. But still,
definitely
thanks
practice
a lot.
what we preach. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Michael.
Next.
Thank you, Audrey. Let's come back now to the main hall. You can do it by clicking on the top left corner. That's written go exit and a green arrow, and we come back to the main hall. Thank you, everyone, once again. Thank you very much. See you. Bye, Michael. Bye, Audrey.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.